Hey world, this is Jamie, host of the Jamie and Genty Show, broadcasting live each week on Tuesday at 12 p.m. from Fishbowl Studios. Log on to hear sports talk from basketball to football and view your feedback on the biggest sports news you want to talk about from around the world. So be sure to log on each week Tuesdays at 12 p.m. to catch the Jamie and Genty Show. Hope to see you soon
on Fishbowl Radio Network.
Jump in.
Welcome to the Beyond the Game podcast on Fishbowl Radio. My name is Jamie. It's Tuesday, January 7th, 2025. Happy New Year, everyone. How's everyone doing out there? Good? That's good. Now, we got lots of things to talk about. The Cowboys, we got college football, and we got basketball as well. So we got to start something serious because this came out on the pipeline on Sunday night. It involved Joy Taylor and Skip Bayless. Now, I'm not a big Skip Bayless fan. I mean, the guy makes awkward opinions when it comes to Kawhi Leonard or the Cowboys for that matter. But in this case, now it's kind of immature for him to do this, or if he didn't. But right now, they're going through the stuff at Fox. Joy Taylor, I highly respect her. Watching her grow up in the media realm, started on Skip and Shannon show when they first started in 2016, up until now being the moderator for Speak that nobody watches from 4 to 6 on every day. She teams up with Keyshawn and Paul. First of all, I don't know why Paul Pierce is on that show, but that's a conversation for a different day. So I want to read this report that this former makeup person for Fox made up. It's not made up, but like wrote up. And then we're going to talk about what she talked about, and then I'm going to talk about what the body language I saw from Joy Taylor yesterday. So here's that quote. I'm quoting from USA Today. This is, if I can pronounce her name correctly, Noshan Farji. She worked at Fox Sports from 2012 to last August. So, lengthy time at Fox Sports. She filed a suit on Friday, saying that Charlie Dixon, who is, I don't know who this person, guys, when I tell you these names, I only know, I don't know them personally. I never met Skip. I never met Joy. I never met these people I'm going to mention about. So I have to throw that out there. Now, I watched Joy and Skip during my time of watching sports talk, but I never spoke to them privately or like or stuff like that. But I'm going to read this. I'm quoting. She said, after starting to work on the Speedy Morning Show, the suit alleged that he began giving, this is Skip, giving Faraji lingering hugs and kisses on the cheek while patting her body against hers and pressing against her breasts. The single mother alleges she repeatedly told Bayless she was not interested in him and did not date at work. She also claims that she told Bayless she was suffering from ovarian cancer and after developing issues with her left ovary in an effort to halt his advances. Instead, Skip became more aggressive over the years, according to the suit. He allegedly offered Faraji $1.5 million to have sex with him, and claimed he could change her life. The suit also claims Bayless accused Faraji of sleeping with Shannon Sharp, his co-star Undisputed. Now, Shannon came out yesterday, said he did not, I had nothing to do with him. So he's out of that. What else? Here's more. Approximately 1 week later, Mr. Bayless made another advance on Miss Faraji. Miss Faraji responded, "Skip, stop, you have a wife." Mr. Bayless responded, "Aren't you Muslim? Doesn't your dad have 3 to 4 wives?" Miss Faraji responded that her father was dead, and when Mr. Bayless looked taken aback, she made an excuse to leave. So this tells me, I'm just making an opinion here. I don't know. I never seen this live. It tells me that Skip is a loser. It tells me that this case should be over well, not easily, but like it's going to take a while and all that stuff. This case should be over ASAP. Considering what Ms. Faraji has went through in this suit, you have to believe the single mother, because they don't have nothing to lose. They want to keep their job and, you know, do the necessary things to improve their life. And Skip took advantage of it. Allegedly. I'm saying allegedly. Now, Joy Taylor. The suit alleges Taylor began assaulting Ms. Faraji on a personal and professional level after their friendship ended. The suit also alleged that Taylor mocked the English pronunciation of Faraji, who is of Persian descent. Fox Sports said, "We take these allegations seriously. We have no further comment at this time, given this pending litigation." Try to pronounce that word twice. So, when I watched Speak online, I didn't watch all of it. They were talking about, if I can remember correctly, I can't remember. There was a bunch of YouTube clips they were talking about. They were talking about a bunch of stuff on you know, the NFL and all that stuff. They were talking about it. I watched I watched Joy Taylor's, how she dresses and all, and she's like, I'm not laughing at this situation, but I'm not laughing at this situation, but she is like, but I'm not laughing at this situation. They're making fun. I'm about to talk about the Commanders in a second, but it makes it seem like Joy didn't want to address it on air. When it comes to these things, you have to address these things. I didn't watch the first beginning of Speak. When your name is out there in the open, you have to make a statement. They brought up Emmanuel Ocho. Joy Taylor has sex with both of them, both Emmanuel Ocho and Charlie Dixon, allegedly. This was when Joy was married for a brief time. And I'm like, well, Joy, you're just out there. The way you dress, and again, you can dress any other way. It's just, she had to cover things up because, you know, the public perception says, you know, you can't dress like that. Now we know why you're dressing like that. And so it gets even crazier. I'm not going to read most of this, but it gets even crazier. But to me, when I watched that show yesterday, Joy Taylor should have definitely been off the air. As soon as this thing came out, she wasn't, and it looks like Fox is ignoring it. So I don't know what their deal is, but Joy should take the initiative to say, you know what, guys, I'm taking a step back. Let the legal process do is just, I'll get my lawyer, they'll get their lawyer, she'll have her lawyer, and we'll go from there. Now, I never want anybody off TV. I love Joy Taylor. I love watching her work. I love her Instagram posts. It was ironic last night or last week. I haven't seen an Instagram post since, it's been a few months from Joy Taylor. And I'm always commenting. I'm always liking the pictures. But I don't know. Maybe it's tied into this one. Maybe. I'm not sure. But what I can tell you is that they should be better than this. Fox and Joy Taylor and Skip Bayless should be better than this, because you can't take advantage of people that are trying to be on the come up, especially when they don't have anybody supportive in their lives. You talk about a single mother having them fight through everything, and then have Skip Bates allegedly take advantage of that. It's crazy. I hope that, I pray to God for that woman. But I also hope that Fox Sports makes the right decision. Now, Skip no longer works at Fox Sports, but Joy does. If Joy's not going to get fired by Fox Sports, I expect Joy to take the initiative to say, you know what, I'm going to take a step back and let the legal process deal with itself. Now, on to happier moments. Sad but happier moments. The reason why I was laughing, because this man here was to flex his muscles, saying that his Commanders are in the playoffs and they beat us because of an old vet quarterback. Okay, Commanders versus Cowboys, the last game, the last game of the season. I didn't even know Marcus Mariota came out of nowhere. And beat and just dominated us. I thought Marcus was out of the league, but he came out. But he relieved Jaden Daniels. He put on a masterful performance in the second half. This man went 15 for 18 for 161 yards and 2 touchdowns. I don't even know Marcus Mariota is 30 years old yet. It doesn't even matter because we got our ass kicked by him. Like the way he was reading the line of scrimmage, the way he was able to run, the way he was able to throw the ball, it makes you think that Jaden Daniels' position is safe, considering the fact if he does get hurt. I don't think he'll get hurt. And so you have and now I know part of his mentorship came from Marcus Mariota, because Marcus Mariota is a running quarterback. Now Jaden Daniels is a running quarterback as well, but I think majority of their runs came from majority of Jaden Daniels' strengths came from Marcus Mariota teaching him how the NFL works, what the coverages to read. And so I'm not a Commanders fan. This fool I went out of the room and was like, flexes, like I said, flexes his muscles and doing his dance and all that stuff, and just dominated us. They're ready for the playoffs. I don't know what type of run they're going to make, but they're ready for the playoffs. Trey Lance started this game. He went 20 for 34 for 244 yards. He was sacked twice. He ran 6 carries for 26 yards. And also, can't you imagine missing your payday? Everybody in America has, at some point, has missed some type of check over hours, over overtime. You stayed in extra overtime, you're going to get paid that extra money. Cooper Rush could have got paid $250K more if he would have played 55% of the snaps. He was at 52. If I'm Cooper Rush, I'll be through the roof upset. You lost out on $250K. The Cowboys do not care about Cooper Rush. They absolutely knew what they were doing. And I don't care you play games for the media, but if I have a chance to get an extra incentive that I'm a few snaps away from making that extra bread, I'm going to take it. The fact of the matter is that Cooper Rush didn't even play. He didn't play one snap. I'm sorry, one play. One play. And then you give it to Trey Lance too late. If you didn't want to play Cooper Rush, then just say so. And now, Cooper, this has to linger over your head. This has to motivate you in the offseason. It has to. Because if it doesn't, then you're weak as the next guy. Look at Mike Evans. Mike Evans needed 5 yards to get 1,000 receiving yards for the 11th consecutive year. That will tie with the legendary Jerry Rice, and he got it. The game was supposed to be over, kneel downs, all that stuff. And they gave Mike Evans the record. Mike Evans is a pro. You see, you look how Tampa Bay value Mike Evans for that versus the Cowboys not valuing Cooper Rush. How many fans out there raved for Cooper Rush over Trey Lance and Dak Prescott? I just want to know, because I'm not a fan of Cooper Rush, but when a guy loses money potentially loses money like that, has a chance to get it, that's why I get upset. That's why I go through the roof, because I'm not. Listen, this is ridiculous. I don't care about. I don't care about. I don't care about lesser stuff. I don't care about, oh yeah, let's oh yeah, he'll get it next season. Dude, next season's gone. He won't get it. That's money that the Cowboys will invest on other players. Jerry and the front office know what they're doing. They're taking money from players that don't matter to them. Cooper Rush does not matter to the Cowboys. Cooper Rush won 3 games. Well, I think, 4 games. Sorry. Was it 4 games? Yeah, it was 4 games. Won 4 games for the Cowboys. Yeah, it was 4 games. 4 games for the Cowboys before he sat out sat out for this game. So, I don't know, man. I don't know what this team is doing as far as this money goes, but it's kind of ridiculous. Number 2. Who secured their spot for the 2025 roster? So the 2025 roster will be a little different. Now, do you address it in March when the free agent period opens, or do you be like an idiot and wait until the training camp into the regular season when someone gets hurt in practice to go after somebody else? We don't have time for that. Address it in March, so that in March you know what type of team you have. April, the draft. May, not training camp, OTAs and mini camp and all that stuff. That's when you know. Training camp. That's when you know what team you have. So I'm going to name you these players. Rico Dowdle had 22 carries for 72 yards and a touchdown. Trey Lance, Kevontae Turpin, Jonathan Mingo he got the trade from the Panthers. I feel like he didn't play a lot. Young player. These are all young players who have less than 4 years experience in the NFL. Ryan Flournoy, Maricel Lofa, Brandon Arbery. What does this mean? It means that these players could be on the Cowboys roster next season. I don't know what Trey Lance will command in the cap. I don't even know what ceiling he has. It seems like you look at every draft right now. This future of the draft from last year's draft till now to future drafts, the quarterback position is going to be the utmost important in the draft. So Trey Lance really does not have a spot in the NFL if you look at it. If he does get released by the Cowboys, then I don't know what other team he fits best. And he's not a bad player. He's just not ready when his number is called. when the lights are on. Sorry, when his number is called, he's not ready to take the limelight. You're asked to start. Okay, you made some throws over, you made some plays early, but that's it's not your fault. It's control. The Cowboys were controlling what you were what you are doing on and off the field. Off the field is more contract. On the field is throwing the football. So to me, Trey Lance does have a spot on this team. So does Kevontae Turpin. The way he was able to, have that burst of speed. Now, I didn't like the fact that I know you guys are not going anywhere. I know the offseason is approaching, but at least give us a chance to go for it. At least say, you know what, let's throw a Hail Mary pass. Let's try to win the game. Let's put some momentum into the offseason. And now that momentum is half because we don't know what they're doing. We don't know what the players are going to do. We don't know who is going to put in the work in the offseason. Whether they're going to do it today or whenever they're going to do it. The timeline is 8 months. So I'm telling you, the offseason can be beneficial to y'all, to these young players. If you care about having your spot in the NFL, you will do everything and almost everything you can to keep that spot. Because like I said, the amount of players in this draft, especially the quarterback position, they want to start right away. Look at Shador. Now they had him in with the Giants a few weeks ago. The Giants won a game. Las Vegas, I think it was last month. Las Vegas started to win a little bit, and now their stock dropped down. I'm not saying you should tank. I'm saying these quarterbacks are coming. You got to go with what you need. The Giants need a quarterback. The Raiders need a quarterback. Cleveland, they don't necessarily need a quarterback, but it'll be nice to have one. They love Deshaun Watson. I'm not a fan. I've never been a fan of Deshaun Watson. But they don't need a quarterback. You got Deshaun Watson. I know Deshaun Watson's going to be hurt. I know he took a step back. But honestly, like if you said, okay, we're going to draft Cam Ward. Okay, what do you do? Now Cam Ward wants to start. He's in the league. He wants to be given the keys, and he wants to run with it. So that's that. So it just goes. My conversation is: do you want it enough to keep your spot? We will see who works out the best. Number 3, the free agents that I want to come back. Now, the Cowboys have a bunch of free agents. Zach Martin has to come back. I'm reading you off the Blogging with the Boys website. DeMarcus Lawrence. He hasn't played since week 4. Brandon Cooks. Man, it's just I don't know about Brandon Cooks. I think you give him another contract. But the Cowboys do need a number 2 wide receiver. Jalen Tolbert is not it. Trey Lance. Again, Trey Lance. What is his ceiling in the NFL? If he goes to another team, is he going to be able to start? Eric Kendricks, a linebacker, a middle outside linebacker that gives you nickel packages. A good tackler. Brian Egler, the punter. Jordan Lewis, Nick in a dime defense. You need a slot cornerback. Jordan Lewis can give you that. I can't let him walk. LeVar Joseph, defensive tackle. Cooper Rush. Now, I want to know what Cooper Rush's market is. What's his market? Is the team going to give him a 2-year contract, a 3-year contract? Is it going to be if he goes to another team, it will be different. Now, C.J. Goodwin, the special teams guy. Trent Siegel, I think he's the long snapper. Chuma Doga, the left tackle. Osa Iguduzua. That's the biggest one. You have to sign him. Rico Dallo. Yeah, you might have to sign it. I'm anticipating a 3-year, $20 million deal. The same contract that Tony Pollard got in Tennessee. Chauncey Goldstein, another big-time free agent role player. Big-time role player. I want to put that out there. Nick Virgil, special teams guy. Darius Harris. Amani Oruwariye, the guy that fumbled the punt against Cincinnati. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if he does. Carl Lawson, defensive end. Carlos Watkins, defensive tackle. Brock Hoffman. This is the right guard. He came in for Zach Martin. Israel Mukamu, the cornerback. Marquise Bell, the hybrid linebacker. Devontae Turpin, Tyrese Wheat, and Wanye Thomas. You can't really let some of these guys go. Some of these guys will get 1 to 2 year contracts, less money, but if the market is wide open for them, like Chauncey Goldstein can easily get a 4-year, $80 million contract from a team that's desperate at defensive tackle. Or better yet, if Rico Dallo gets a 3-year contract worth $35 million, or I'm not trying to compare the two. Maybe he gets Saquon money, maybe, but it'll be mountains to climb if Rico were to get Saquon's money. But then again, I think he'll be the last running back, and I could be wrong, to get Saquon's money. Who else can I say on this list? You definitely got to resign C.J. Goodwin. C.J. Goodwin reminds me of Matthew Slater of the New England Patriots, the special teams captain, the guy that knows the position, the guy that knows that knows special teams. Eric Kendricks, you can't let him walk. If Mike Zimmer's not there, then Eric Kendricks is not going to no longer sign. So the Cowboys have a lot of work to do between now and March to figure out who's going to be on their team, who's going to who wants to do what kind of content we can offer them. Now it goes to my other point, number 4. These questions need to be asked. Need to be answered. Asked and answered. Number 1, who's your number 2? That's your quarterback. My quarterback number 2 is either going to be Trey Lance or Cooper Rush, but then again, both of those guys are unrestricted free agents. Rico Dallo, what type of contract would he get? Would he get a 3-year, $20 million contract? That's my expectation. Number 3, what to do with the number 12 pick? Ashton Genty, somebody else, used to be Shador, but Ashton Genty, could he come in and fill the void or be a number 2? Sometimes, being a college football running back doesn't translate to success in the NFL. It just depends on the individual, on how he take care of the body. How's he able to hit the holes? And Ashton Genty, being small as he is, I think he can hit the hole. If the Cowboys do go with a running back at any round, whether it's in the first or the 4th to 7th round, I think Deuce Vaughn knows his fate. And I hate to say that. I like Deuce Vaughn. I like the story that he presented in the draft a couple years ago. And so to me, we got to start being serious about what we're looking at. And again, it starts in the offseason. How are you going to work to keep your spot in the NFL as far as the Cowboys goes? Will CeeDee Lamb experience growth? CeeDee Lamb had another 1,000-yard receiving season. I want CeeDee Lamb to be a leader one day. The impact of Zach Martin this is it for Zach. If Zach is not going to be playing in the 2025 season, if this is it, well done. I just wish the Cowboys and Jerry invested more into getting guys an opportunity going for a championship, an opportunity to get to a championship game, an opportunity to play in the Super Bowl. Because the Cowboys ain't doing that. Will Micah Parsons get paid? Micah, this upcoming season, this will be the last year of his rookie deal. Will he get paid? I don't even know the numbers, but he's more than deserving. What defender would be drafted? If I was doing a draft, I would like to get a defensive, not a defensive tackle, but like maybe a linebacker, outside linebacker. I will go for an outside linebacker if we don't get a running back. Does Mike Zimmer come back? Now, Mike Zimmer is almost 70. Mike Zimmer just got engaged to his girlfriend. I can't remember her name on Saturday. So congratulations to him. Now, Mike Zimmer has been in the coaching in the NFL for more than 40 years. If Mike McCarthy's not coming back, I don't think Zim's coming back as well. But then again, Zim is 68. Does he want to stand on the sidelines? Does he want to, dictate this defense again? And it remains to be seen. Number 9, will Jerry and Steven back off? Back it off means no more radio interviews. No more of you controlling the team. No more Jerry after the game interviews. No more Steven interviews. I never seen a team, like I said, I'm going to keep saying this. I never seen a team go through this. Every time they interview a GM / owner, they're either pronouncing that name wrong. They're either going to go hire a new coach, or they're doing the draft. That's when ownership comes in. They don't come in during the season. They come in during the draft or during when they win the championship. And in this case, as long as those two are there, we will never win. And do we go all in there in 2025? What's the message for Jerry in 2025? It seems like he doesn't have one. It's just a bunch of excuses. And when you make excuses, there's no progress involved. So Jerry, keep making excuses because we know our fate. As long as you're the owner, you're going to control this. You're going to control this 100% of the time. You're the owner. You're an owner. You're gonna do what it takes. What it takes to not give away control. Not Baker. I can't remember his name. I'm drawing a blank today. Not Will Hardy, the Jazz coach. Why am I thinking of his name again? The guy that makes the drafts all possible. The guy that makes the drafts. We said his name a couple of times. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank today. But he should be the GM. He'll be somebody else's GM. Keep messing around, Jerry. Don't worry, he'll be someone else's there. Now, my final take: Cowboys Cowboys lose 20-19 to the Washington Commanders. Now, there's no Cowboy storylines would dominate the playoffs. We don't care about this coach leaving. We don't care about this player's lifestyle. That player's family blaming Dak and all that mess that we had last offseason. We don't care about that. What we care about is these teams that are in the playoffs right now. And next week on to the Super Bowl, we will talk about those teams, those great teams that are in the playoffs. We'll recap all their games possible, and we will go from there. But unless there's a Cowboy story emerging, whether they got a new coach or a new defensive coordinator or whoever, we will definitely talk about it. Now, this postseason is going to be great. It looks like the Commanders are playing the Buccaneers. They got to go to Tampa. I mean, it's a tough matchup, especially when Jaden Daniels being a rookie on the road for the first time to go to the postseason. That's Sunday on NBC. That's a 7 o'clock game. Okay, Eagles play the Packers on Sunday, and then the Rams and Vikings. That's a Monday night game. The Lions have to bye. The Bills play the Broncos on CBS on Sunday. Ravens Steelers on Saturday at 7 on Prime Video. Texans Chargers on Saturday at 3:30 on CBS. And the Chiefs have to bye. So we'll dive into these matchups and we'll break it down. Mike McCartney should be going to talk to the Cowboys soon enough. It was reported yesterday that he was going to do that. The Cowboys should allow him to do that. But if you want Mike as your head coach, you would have done it now instead of later. So Mike's contract expires next Tuesday. That tells me that the Bears, considering as they like, if they like what they see from Mike, then they'll go ahead and make the change. Mike, I'm telling you, Mike McCartney looks great for the Bears because he will help with Caleb Williams' development. Caleb Williams needs a lot of development. Caleb Williams is not used to having to run around in the pocket every single possession. So if he were to have that success in Green Bay, what makes you think he got that success in Chicago? He knows the NFC North. He can excel in it. He won a championship in the NFC North. He knows how to coach. It's just, it's ran its course in Dallas. Jerry doesn't know that. And Jerry will never know that. And so that's why, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I want Mike to be happy. I want Mike McCartney to be happy wherever he decides to go. Whether it's Jacksonville, whether it's Chicago, or whether it's back in Dallas. I don't think it's going to be back in Dallas, but I know what I think. Every fan knows what Jerry is thinking. So Zeke, this hurt my heart. Zeke signs with the Chargers. So Zeke is added to their practice squad. I'm pretty sure by their game on Saturday, Zeke will be activated. And that's a road game for the Chargers. So Zeke will be playing in the postseason. I'm predicting that. There's no way Zeke sits out this game. Zeke will play. Give it about tomorrow or Thursday to make that happen. Now, my deadline for a coach has to be by February. After the Super Bowl, you know what to do. If Mike is the coach, he should be motivated to do better. Any coach should be motivated to do better. Brian Daboll, Antonio Pierce survived the cut line. Kevin Stefanski survived. There were names popping up. Mike Tomlin didn't survive. He survived it last year, and he survived it more because he won the games last year, this season versus last. Now, I don't like the Steelers' chances, but Mike, if a team wanted to go after Mike, wouldn't they do it now instead of later? Or I'm better yet, the Steelers could have fired Mike Zimmerman. So not Mike Zimmerman. They could have fired Mike Tomlin. They could have. Because that would be a bullshit move if they fired him in season. You just signed the man a contract. Kind of like that Mike Brown situation. But they got a great organization there. And that's it for my Cowboys talk. So, like I said, if we have any news concerning the Cowboys, then I will pass it along and I'll give my expert opinion on it. Now let's move on to college football. It is semifinals bowl season. This is a recap of the bowl season itself. But also we're giving you a preview of the Cotton Bowl and the Orange Bowl. Number one, this is Texas versus Ohio State. Texas beat Arizona State 39-31 in overtime last week. Okay, here's the keys for Texas. Quinn Ewers has to make plays. Quinn Ewers cannot make questionable decisions with the ball. You have to go out there and make the simple play. Don't put it in harm's way, especially on a 2nd and 4. Now, on that 2nd and 4, I blame Sark. Your running back got 6 yards. Instead of just rolling the clock out and going for another first down, because Arizona State was not stopping the run. You wore them out. You have two productive running backs that were wearing out Arizona State in the front 7. Why not run the ball in 2nd and 4 instead of just throwing the ball in harm's way and almost giving Arizona State the victory, which is why Sark and Quinn both of them have to do better. And also, I heard news that Steve Sarkisian is a potential for an NFL hire. Now, he coached in the NFL back 8 years ago for Atlanta Falcons. It didn't last long, but considering the fact that he had to grow and he's gotten Texas in this position again, you would think that the name is out there. You would think that this may be draining. Look, they're not going to hire a coach between now and after the college football playoff. I'm pretty sure they're probably going to interview him after the college football playoff, whether it's on Friday or whether it's after January 20th. The running backs must protect the ball. You cannot put the ball in harm's way. The wide receivers will get theirs. Matthew Golden, productive. Gunnar Helm, productive. They'll get theirs in this game. The defense must finish plays in the second half. Part of the reason why Arizona State was in the game is because the second half came along, and the second half, Arizona State found their confidence. Cam Scottaboo willed that team on his back. And you talk about a player that will play on Sundays. You have that type of production and type of maturity in that locker room. Your team just hit a home run. Your team just hit a home run. With that type of motivation, with that type of effort to will his guys in the second half to potentially beating Texas, or else we will never be talking about Texas today against Ohio State. Then I give my utmost respect to Cam Scatterboo, and I wish him nothing but the best in whatever team he gets drafted on. He easily could be the first round grade, but then again, it's like you pick your poison. Everybody wants to celebrate the player that is in, and that is first. But when they're not ready, you bench them, and then you say, "Hey, you have to get ready. You have to do this." Cam Scatterboo is ready for the NFL. The effort that I saw in the second half, that tells me enough that he's good to go. You can't put the ball in Auburn's hands. This is Brent Auburn, the kicker. The kicker, the reliable kicker. I try to put my confidence and I put my confidence in Brent Auburn to make the kick from 30 yards out. He could even do it, even not even 40. So if you're doing that, you can't face distractions, which, by the way, if you watch that game, you may have saw cameras showing Brent, like any other camera on ESPN, they're showing the kickers preparing to kick. You saw the two ladies shamelessly walk in front of Brent Auburn. I said to myself, there's no way this man's focused. Now, to the ladies' credit, you have when someone's to not get hurt in that situation, you have to move out of the way. Can't you go around? Can't you go around the person? And there's too many people in that, and there's too many people there's too many people on that sideline. There's too many people in that sideline. It's just too much. You have to make sure you got to clear some space. You got to clear some space. And so I'm not saying that was the whole ordeal. I'm not saying that, but Brent, if you can't face distractions, then what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Like if you're going to face all those distractions in the NFL. If you can't face that in the NFL, what makes you think if you can't face that in college, what makes you think you're going to face that in the NFL, or better yet, in real life? We all have distractions. We just got to get through them. And Brent, I'm sorry. Sark, I'm sorry. I given him too many chances. If you're in the position on the 20-yard line or a little further ahead, I'm going for the win. I'll run the ball. Because this kicker is not it. I'm sorry. That's when Sark should put his foot down and say, you know what? We got to go for the win. We need 6 points. Our offense is moving. We're tiring their defense. We got to put the ball in the end zone. And the Cowboys, not the Cowboys, the Longhorns can do that. The Longhorns should do that because Ohio State, they roughed up Oregon. Now, I'm afraid of Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly is very creative in his play calling. They got to get to yours, and they'll get to him. But again, Texas has to have a solid base at offensive line. You got to feed the beast. Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith, I think he's a freshman. He's either going to be a 2027 draft pick or 2028. His future looks really bright for Ohio State. If he doesn't transfer. If he does not transfer, then that tells me that he's reliable, he's loyal to the program. The man can really play. He has 7 receptions for 187 yards and 2 touchdowns. He literally dominated Oregon in the first half of that game. I'm afraid of him. I'm afraid because he may break one. But then again, we can get to Will Howard. The defense will make life miserable. So, yeah, but I'm not a big fan of Ohio State's defense. I think they'll give up some plays. You talk about a real complete team that Texas is. Texas is a complete team. They make you work. Even though it wasn't that great, they made Arizona State work for those points in the fourth quarter. It wasn't easy. And so my winner, everyone wants to choose Ohio State because of what they did was they're motivated by Kurt Herbstreit's nonsensical stuff. Was the situation with Shannon Sharp on December, I think it was like December 20th or something, like one of those days. Oh, well, yeah, December 23rd. And so they're motivated. And Kurt Herbstreit has a personal relationship with Ryan Day. That's why most people are choosing Ohio State. Ohio State to me is not the dominated team. But I would tell you that Texas will make them work. So that's why I'm choosing Texas. Number 2, Notre Dame versus Penn State, the Orange Bowl. Here's Notre Dame's keys. Ryan Leonard in the game. And you got to keep Riley Leonard going. Keep the Ryan Leonard and the running game going. You got to find a way to throw the football in this game because I don't think Penn State is going to give you anything. The defense must pressure Allard. Secondary would be big. That's my prediction. Both defenses are really good. I'm pretty sure they're ranked in the top 100. So I mean, it's going to be really tough. I think this is going to be really a tough matchup. I give you Penn State's keys. Allard's got to be great. He's got to be great on offense. Who's their other offensive guru? The defense has to make. They'll make a turnover. If there is a turnover in this game, then that team wins. If there's a turnover in this game. Then keep Leonard in the pocket. That's Riley Leonard, the quarterback. So I'm predicting this score. I'm looking at the over and under. I'm like, well, I don't know why they have it at 45 and a half. I think it should be lower than that because both teams can really play defense. Both teams can really defend the pass and defend the run. So I do think this is going to be a field goal led game, which pursues well in Notre Dame's favor, so I'm choosing Notre Dame to beat Penn State. I don't know why that is. Again, I don't know why these numbers are the way they are. I just see Notre Dame being productive, being a little productive on offense, more productive on defense. Like I said, a turnover wins this game. Number 3. North Texas, the Mean Green, lost their bowl game. Now, North Texas has not played in over a month. They're 6-7 for the season. Eric Morris is not that coach. You took the air raid offense, and now you turn it in, and now this whole entire season, it looked great at times, but it was the defense. But when it didn't look good, because you only scored 24 points against Temple. Who is Temple? 24 points against Temple. Who is it? Who are they? You only scored 24 points. Now, you regress on offense a little bit. We're talking about a guy that puts up 40-plus points a game, but his defense gave up 40-plus points as well. So now you change that side of the ball, You went after, who did you go after? I wrote it down here. Skylar Cassidy from Sam Houston. So, Eric has to get it together. This is his third season coming up. He has to get it together. I know the schedule was stupid because I know the committee wanted North Texas to play a little earlier. Why didn't North Texas play on December 27th? They could have easily gone to New Mexico. But no, they stayed in town and said, you know what? We're going to play in the Super Bowl that nobody cares a damn about. It gets to these bowl games that only their fan base cares about. 6 wins means you get to the bowl, yes. But I'm not happy about this season. I think we were really inconsistent. We didn't finish plays. Later in the season, when the scores got tight, like I said, we scored 24 points against Temple. We didn't finish the offensive possessions. Our quarterback, Chandler Morris, who transferred to Virginia, you would think in your mind, that is you. Like I said, if you have to transfer to a school twice or 3 times, don't you think it's you? It's not the coach, it's you. It's you. You are the problem. You need to fix it of why you're transferring from North Texas to Virginia. Probably for a better living arrangement. Probably for more money. It's you. The quarterback position you don't care about. It's okay. You don't care about being the quarterback of the North Texas Mean Green. You don't care about putting your name out there. You went to TCU. You starred in the national championship game. And now you decide, I'm going to Virginia. You gave up on yourself. More importantly, you gave up on the team. These guys that are transferring right now, these guys that are transferring for money purposes, they don't care about the team. They don't care about football. They care about themselves. They want to have a roof over their head. They want to have food in their mouth. But yet, when it comes down to training, they got to will themselves to go train every day. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to work for it. I'm pretty sure if you put up monster numbers and you transfer to a school that has national championship all over it, the money will be higher. Now, I don't know how much what's his name? Chandler Morris got from Virginia, but it doesn't help his cause. It doesn't help his cause. And I wish him well. I hope in Virginia he gets whatever he wants over there and more. Now, we got to talk about this quarterback, Drew Mustelmaker, 26 of 41 for 393 yards, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. The interception came on the last play of the game, the last drive of the game. We were at the 8-yard line, and you're not gonna go 94 yards in like less than 30 seconds. And so he's only 18 years old. Can't you imagine? 18. The future's bright for him. If he doesn't, right now, I have not seen his name in the transfer portal. Because, these kids are sneaky these days. They'll play in the bowl game, but their name is in the transfer portal. And it's like, are you going to stay at North Texas or are you going to go to another school? It can happen at any time. This transfer portal is wide open. It hasn't closed. So if Drew Mustelmaker said, hey, guys, I want to go to Texas or I want to go to Ole Miss, releasing me from my contract. And they got to do it. Because he showed a lot of poise in this game. It's going to be a battle. I was almost thinking that he shouldn't have to battle for his spot. I was almost thinking that. But but then again, it's like I think he's always solidified it. I'm anticipating Drew Musmaker, if the transfer does not happen, to start in the 2025 season. And again, you got, like I told you, you got 7 months. That's a lot of time. You got between now, you got the spring game, and then you got things to improve on, and you're going to be great. I'm not saying that be like Mason Fine great or the quarterbacks at North Texas is great, but you're going to be making your own name. Now you got to battle with Reese Poffenberger. You got to battle with him. So we'll see how that goes. Now, like I said, I'm not happy with 6 wins. Like Eric, I'm not trying to compare you to Coach Prime, but Coach Prime took a program that went 1-11, 4-8 to 9-4 this past season. You, on the other hand, went 5-7, 6-7, and what in the third season? And the boys at North Texas will say, okay, that's good enough for us. No, we have lost 7 straight bowl games, and it's not his fault. It's at North Texas. They want to play where their fans are. It's not a bad thing, but they want mediocre success. That's all they want. 6 wins will get you a bowl game. You know what 10 wins get, 11 wins, 12 wins get you? A spot in the college football playoff. If we're talking about right now, how does Boise State get there? Boise State won the Mountain West. We were 5-1 on our way to be what's that called? To make an appearance in the championship game, the American Athletic Championship game, and to not get there, to wait 35 days to play football is beyond me. I started to get disinterested in North Texas football. I started watching a lot of basketball because this team shouldn't be in that situation. You got Boise State. On paper, we were better than Boise State. We have the offense. They had one offensive player at Boise State. Ashton Genty was their only offensive player. And when Penn State shut him down, that was their whole offense. North Texas, we have a running game. We have a wide receiver game. We have a quarterback on offense. I'm not saying we were going to compete against Penn State, but damn. You're okay with 6 wins and not even a championship, not even a appearance in a championship game? Fine. Y'all can have that. Y'all can have this soft-ass generation. Let me go back to the 90s and 2000s and where it was great. Y'all can have this. You're okay with 6 wins. Okay, fine. You expect me to jump on that bandwagon? I want to win 11 games. Now they got a new defensive coordinator, Skylar Cassidy from Sam Houston. They got 4 other guys as well. They got to work on their tackling. Their tackling is terrible. It has nothing to do with the defensive coordinator. The defensive coordinator can call plays on the field, but it's technique. You have to tackle but well. Now, I talk about 90s to 2000 football. Those guys tackled. 2 hands firm on the guy and bring him down. Not the 1 hand miss, or better yet, not the antics that some idiot does by doing a WWE style and chopping and going body first. We're not doing that stupid nonsense. Just be simple. Just be make the simple play. I'm concerned about the offense. I don't know what it's going to look like. DT Sheffield did not play, and he's your main target. I don't even know if we're going to have Damon Ward or Miles Coleman. Again, we don't know. We just got to see. We just got to see how the spring game goes, and we'll see those guys, and we'll know. But then again, the transfer portal hasn't closed. It will never close. I don't even know when it's going to close, but I don't think it will close. And then we need to pick up some key transfers. So right now, I haven't seen it. Number 4, Colorado season ends and more. So Colorado season ended against BYU on December 28th. 36-14, BYU beats Colorado. Shador in his last game went 16 for 28 for 208 yards, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Travis Hunter, the Heisman winner, in his last game, 4 receptions for 106 yards and a touchdown. Shiloh, his last game as well, 8 tackles. Now, Shiloh could be a 3rd to 4th, maybe 5th round draft pick. So it's not a bad thing for him. I think he's going to go on the team. He's going to be the teams will love him. Teams will love how he's been a captain. You know, you got to grow in those aspects. But I think the football player, they will love him. The team had 3 turnovers. What's next for Colorado? Colorado has Caden Slayton, who is the Allen quarterback. If you remember back in the, I think it was like, I had to be 2018, 2019, one of those years. He was the Allen quarterback. And now he's transferred. He transferred from Liberty. And then you got the freshman Julian Lewis. So those guys will be competing. The more than likely it'll be veteran over freshman. And again, it's not a bad thing. You know, we thought, I was thinking when Shador dropped the keys to Julian Lewis, I thought it was going to be Julian Lewis. I thought Deion's going to start a freshman quarterback for the first time. If he's up for it, you got 100,000 people. This is not high school where you got like your family, your friends, people that know you, that watching you, but you're playing in front of a community. You're playing in front of 1 million people, 100 million people, especially the social media presence. You're playing in front of them. They want to come to the game and watch you for the first time. So I think if he performs well in practice in the spring game, I think Slayton will get that start. But Coach Prime is not coaching in the NFL. He shut down rumors real quick, and honestly, his name has not pulled up. His name pulled up early on, but those names, but it got quieter over time. So it looks like they're not. It looks like he's not going to be considered anymore. Number 5, other bowl games. Other bowl games of interest, and honestly, well, there's one other bowl game that interests me, and also we got to talk about the college football offseason. So Michigan beats Alabama 19-13. They met last season in the college football playoff, which Michigan beat them on a goal line stand. Jalen Milroe goes to the NFL. If I'm looking at his stock right now, I think he's going to be an okay quarterback. Not a great quarterback, but okay. But then again, it depends on the work ethic. Alabama does not deserve in the college football playoff. At some point, we got to be honest. Alabama's got to be honest with himself. Alabama has got to be honest with not being in the college football playoff. Next season, can we see Michigan out again? It's different. It's different because we're not used to seeing Alabama and Michigan play against each other in random bowl games. This is the first time for me seeing Alabama in this bowl game at random. Nick Saban wasn't happy about it. I'm pretty sure he wasn't happy about it. But he had to be even keel on TV because you're presenting an audience. These teams that are in the college football playoff right now, you never know what's going to happen. We're not going to speculate. People shouldn't make predictions. Just be happy that we have it. Just be happy that Indiana made it against all odds. Just be happy that SMU made it against everything that SMU went through. Everyone was talking about Miami. Everybody was talking about Alabama. Everyone was talking about Clemson. But yet, teams like SMU, teams like Boise State, teams like Indiana were able to dominate the regular season and get to the college football playoff. And put up a battle. I don't really care about the score. We have it. People complained about it for 3 years. We have it. I don't care about the blowouts because everybody's got to prepare. You have time to prepare for your opponent. The time that they came out was what team you're playing for, what team you're playing against. You have to prepare. Somebody's got to be on it right away. We cannot make random excuses. We're not having that ever. The amount of opt-outs in the game, so in these bowl games, and I understand you didn't make the college football playoff. You take the BS route and say, you know what, I'm not going to play today. I'm going to prepare for the NFL draft. I just don't want to play, dude. Like I said, selfish. I like how Coach Prime did it. I like how the Syracuse coach did it. Everybody played. It's like your job, a random job. At McDonald's, I hate to bring this up. At McDonald's, you're working. You can't tell your boss, I'm not going to work today. You know why? Because they can fire you. They will fire your ass. If Angelo said, I don't want to come to work today, they'll fire his ass. You can't tell people that. You can't tell your coach, I'm sitting out. And I have to say, and I don't care if you're the number one pick. I don't care. You're going to play. You're going to finish this job. If you're a team guy, team girl, you're going to be with your team, period. In the story. You want to fight me on it? No, let's fight. But the amount of opt-outs that I saw during that holiday break, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it, man. Then you transfer from one, like I said, you transfer from one school to another. It's you. You have to be the one that if I sucked, if I didn't put enough effort into my craft, I have to get better. The NCAA, the things I'm saying right now, the NCAA shouldn't have control over. The NCAA has enough problems. Now, like I said, would there be a next season for SMU, Colorado? We'll see. It's different. I think this college football playoff, I think it's going to be different every year. I'm not saying the 4 byes that all lost, the teams that got the bye that all lost, again, it's about preparation. Arizona State was not ready for Texas in the first 3 quarters until Arizona State pulled off the routing. Boise State wasn't ready for Penn State. Oregon wasn't ready for Ohio State the second time around. So, and then also my final point of the day, don't be like a Cam Ward. Cam Ward played in the Pop-Tart Bowl. Cam Ward could have had free Pop-Tarts for life. He could have had Pop-Tarts for life in that ball game against Iowa State. He went 12 for 19 for 190 yards and 3 touchdowns. Played in the first half. Dude, you're 22 years old. And you say, I got to prepare for the NFL draft. Dude, you got a whole month. You got a whole 8 months to rest. We're not talking about you got days, you got treatment. You got all the resources to rest. That tells me your character as a person, as a human being. That tells me a lot. And I try not to judge. I try not to judge people But for him to sit down on the sidelines in the second half and not rally his team to win, to get free Pop-Tarts for life, to not eat the big Pop-Tart that they had in the toaster, I'm like, dude, you lost an opportunity. He gave it to Iowa State, who, by the way, played all their guys. And so I have to. If you impress in the combine, then I will forgive you. But right now, I don't. And please, these athletes do not be like a Cam Ward or any other of these players that opt out of a game or play the first half. We're not doing that anymore. The team said you could have told Mario Cristobal, hey, I want to go in this last drive. I want to take over with this minute left. I want to get us into position to win. You're going to carry that loss. And on a podcast, you're going to blame that quarterback. You're going to blame that coach. The blame should be on you. You took yourself out in the story. I don't want any other high athlete under the age of 30 sitting out. Whether it's in the NFL, the NBA, unless you're injured. Ever. Now, coming up next, let's talk about some college basketball and the NBA. We'll talk about that next. It's Beyond the Game on Fishbowl Radio. Welcome back to the Beyond the Game podcast on Fishbowl Radio. My name is Jamie. That was a lot in that first segment. And now let's talk about some basketball. So in the midst of conference play, I would talk about North Texas, that's my school, TCU. Maybe I'll throw in Texas women's and men's because I did watch the Texas and OU women's basketball game last week, and I was really intrigued by both teams on how they were to adjust to SEC officiating. Yeah, officials controlled that game. So I like the fact that Texas and OU, even though Texas won, adjusted to the SEC officiating. Now, I don't like when teams, and OU's not the only team that does it. I don't like when teams take 4 timeouts with under a minute spell. I'm like, dude, your team is down by 7. Do you have a 7-point play? No, you don't. You know what? You know what's going to happen? You're going to score. You're going to jack up a 3. You hope to make it. But, yeah, better. The logic will say go for 2. Go for 2 and then play pressure defense in the backcourt. In the backcourt. So that would tell me a lot. I'm not a fan of a team playing using 4 timeouts with under a minute. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that. But anyways, Mean Green, they beat Wichita State 62-56. That was a game on December 29th. Desiree Rutten had 12 points and 8 rebounds and 6 assists. Marina Honoré had 12 points and 7 rebounds. I'm going to talk about those later in a second. They shot 41%. They held Wichita State to 29% shooting. They had 11 turnovers in the second half. North Texas had 11 turnovers in the second half. That's why the score is what it was. They also beat Tulsa 84-78. They improved. Jacqueline Moore had 24 points. Demetri Lankin at 18. They'll have a tough time with Tulsa. Even though Tulsa wasn't good defensively. But if I'm going to conference play, I think the biggest weakness for Tulsa would be the post game. But then again, they play 5 guards. So if you're going to play 5 guards, then your rebounding gets weak. And that's where North Texas took advantage of that. Can North Texas constantly make outside shots? I'm going to tell you the reason why they can't. They beat Tulsa's press. When you play five guards out, when you play 5 guards, you're going to play press because all 5 guards can run. And I'm talking about like your tallest player is 5'10". So I want Tulsa, but Tulsa's a good team. But North Texas beat Memphis 73-71 on Saturday. Irina Hardaway had 18 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. Almost a triple-double for Irina Hardaway. That was all Irina Hardaway that game. She was honorable mention. Congratulations to her for this week, for this week's performance. Nia Johnson had 14 points and 10 rebounds. However, the constant thing of not making shots is 1 for 12 from 3. North Texas, again, they don't have any 3-point shooters on it. Well, they have one in Jacqueline Moore. Jacqueline Moore shoots about 32% from beyond the arc. That's your best 3-point shooter. Everybody else is like lower than that. You don't really need threes to win for North Texas. North Texas wins in different ways. And so for me, on the women's side, North Texas will continue to make they'll struggle making outside shots game by game if the defense allows it. But, the team could change. If they can shoot 1,000 shots a day, just a day in practice where they can do that, because it's so constricted with games and all that stuff. You got to go this road game, that road game. You got to win this game. You got to win that game. It's tough. And so for North Texas, it's going to be even tougher to win, to to shoot 50% every game. Because now you got to get to the paint and give it to your all-pro player in Tamisha Lampkin, who could dominate down there. Now we got to talk about Tamisha Lampkin's WNBA game. They talked about her being in the WNBA. I want to say this. Even though she had 14 points and 13 rebounds on Saturday, Tamisha Lampkin will be a role player in the WNBA. It'll be tough for her to guard players like Asia Wilson and Brendan Griner. Even though Brendan Griner has lost a step, Asia Wilson has not. It'll be tough for her. She'll be playing the 4. And I'm not saying she's going to be a bad player. I'm saying that the player that went overseas this offseason in Desiree Colonel had a better WNBA odds than Tamisha Lampkin. Now, in the WNBA draft, if Tamisha Lampkin keeps on playing this way, then yeah, you do see a future in the WNBA. You do see it. On Rival, yes. Overseas, absolutely. There's opportunities out here for Tamisha Lampkin to sail to the point where she's going to be up here. She's going to dominate. So for North Texas, I expect them to struggle outside. And also, I mean, if you cut down the turnovers, everything plays out themselves. And I expect Irina Hardaway to excel. Number 2, TCU's week. TCU beat Brown 79-47. Haley Van Lith has 17 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists that game. TCU also beat Colorado 63-50. In that game, Sedona Prince had 14 points and 10 rebounds. Haley Van Lith had 14 points and 6 rebounds. That was in conference play. TCU beat Cincinnati 81-66. Madison Connor had 29 points and 7 assists. 6 for 9 for 3. TCU. Before I go talk about Haley Van Lith's draft stock. TCU, they're 2-0 conference play. They're 15-1 overall. TCU will have the games run through TCU. The Big 12 runs through TCU. TCU's weaknesses is the depth. When they get in foul trouble, you have to observe their depth. In this game against Cincinnati, which I'm really surprised, they didn't play more than 2 players off the bench. So I guess Matt Campbell knows what he's doing by not doing that. And it's not disrespect to any of those players on the roster. It's just he saw the matchup. He can play Sedona and Haley 30-plus minutes. And they're going to get a bunch of those minutes because as the conference play goes on, the games get tougher. Teams start to know you. Like, for example, UCF knows TCU, the women's basketball. Colorado knows TCU. Cincinnati plays TCU. Just imagine a coach. If you play that same team in the tournament or if you play them in the regular season, they have your number. They have your number. Or else TCU does have your number as well. So, but I do think TCU is kind of like the same team last year. All these cupcake opponents that they played against before conference play, it's not going to serve them a purpose long term. Now, can I say they're an NCAA tournament team? I can easily say that, but now is not the time to say they're the NCAA tournament team because you got to go against the gauntlet of the schedule in conference play. Now, Haley Van Lith, people make their own judgments. They make their own decisions on where Haley's going to go. I do think that Haley used to be the best player in this draft 3 years ago. When she was at Louisville, scoring all those points, I thought, okay, this is the best in the draft. I thought she'll go top 10. Right now, it looks like it's, for me, right now it's going to be late second round into the third round. Because Haley, Madison Connor should be drafted higher than Haley. Haley's not a bad player. It's just It's just like, the point guard play. Who's your point guard? Can Haley lead that position? Can she lead? Can she do this? Can she do that? Can she score? It's tough. It's tough. And I do think that Haley will have a personality change when it comes to the WNBA, because we'll see what we saw in Louisville translate to the WNBA. I'm not saying Haley's fake, but I have her in the late second round into third round. I think her ball handling skills are great. She's improved them over time. Her time at LSU, that was the number one improvement she was able to improve on, her ball handling skills. Because LSU they didn't have a point guard. They went with Last Terrace Powell, and she couldn't get the job done. Okay? They went with Flau'jae Johnson. Kim Mulkey knows that Flau'jae is a 2 or a 3. So why is Flau'jae bringing the ball up? Why can't it be Last Terrace? Well, it could be Haley. It just wasn't the right fit for Haley. Haley's a scorer. Okay, the men's side. This is men's basketball for the Mean Green. 78-75, they beat UAB on a game-winning shot by Antel Wright. He had 22 points that game. They rallied from 18-point deficit. They kept UAB out of the paint. Sissoko's interior defense will be important moving forward. So, North Texas, their weakness is interior defense. If Sissoko's not in the game, they're at a disadvantage. So for me, if I want to see North Texas play they also lost to Memphis too. So, but Memphis is like all NBA talent team, and I feel like North Texas is the only team in that conference that can compete with Memphis. Listen, they had North Texas at the 7th rank. You realize that when you're ranked 7th, the numbers don't look good for you. They don't look good for you. They're awful. You're ranked 7th. That means you're going to have a bad record in conference. North Texas is not going to have a bad record in conference. I think, honestly, they'll be better than last year. North Texas will be better in conference play than last year. So, for me, this week I would like to see North Texas work on their interior defensive play. I like to see North Texas win another game, competing-wise. Not competing-wise, but like convince-wise. Listen, North Texas is not offensive-minded. They're more defensive-minded. That's their coaching. They're not going to win games on offense for you. Everything that you're seeing on the offensive end translates. Whatever happened on the defensive end is going to it translates. So, offensively, North Texas will be challenged as we get onto conference play. But defensively, you're going to play their defense. You got to go do their defense. Now, we got a couple of teams to talk about. Jimmy Butler, number 4. That's my other point. Jimmy Butler's trade scenarios. Now, Jimmy Butler was suspended 7 games, even though I don't agree with it. No interest on the team's success. You don't suspend him for 7 games. You trade him right away. Pat Riley was like, no, we don't trade players in the regular season. But, Pat, you got to force your hand. Jimmy stopped caring when he started giving an effort. And that ain't right on Jimmy Butler's part. You're a veteran in this league. Why? If you didn't want to play, Jimmy, just wait for the team to trade you. Play as hard as you can, the best you can, and then allow the team to force their hand to trade you. And they will. They have to go to now. Could be Phoenix, Bradley Beal, even though he's coming on the bench, he scored 25 points last night. Could be him. Could be the Spurs. Could be the Spurs. If I'm doing Jeremy Sohan, maybe they want the Sissoko kid. Maybe they want Keldon Johnson. They won't give him that. The Spurs won't give him up. But we'll see. the Mavericks. The Mavericks have to give up Daniel Gafford. They don't want to. They might have to give up Maxi Kleba. They don't want to. One of those two guys will be traded from the Mavericks. They may have to give up Najee Marshall for Jimmy Butler. If we're gonna go all in, you got to give up what you want. You got to give it. You got to give it up. Jimmy Butler may team up with Kyrie and Luka when healthy. When healthy, those three, box office. And what Jimmy Butler gives you on the defensive end when he plays, masterful. But again, it'll be a massive trade. I think it will take 4 players from the Mavericks and one other team to trade to get Jimmy Butler out of Miami. Why does everyone want out of Miami? The weather's nice. There's people out. The ladies look good. Why does everyone out? Tyreek Hill wants out of Miami. Why? Guys, if you don't get it your way, it doesn't mean you have to take the easy way out. You gotta stay in. You gotta lock in. I didn't mention the Warriors, the Clippers, and the Thunder. The Thunder, if you add Jimmy Butler, that's a championship right there. Even though they don't need Jimmy Butler, but it will help. It's championship for the Thunder. Who would imagine all those draft picks that the Thunder have, and you're about to compete for the NBA title later on? Wow. Well, we'll see. My last and final point of the day, number 5. I need to talk about other NBA headlines. I need to talk about the Spurs. Yeah, even though the Spurs lost last night to the Bulls, they have lost 2 straight to the Nuggets and the Bulls. I do want the Spurs. The Spurs are locked in. The Spurs are in it. It's going to take consistency, but I want them to finish the 4th quarter. That's the problem in these games of the Spurs that I have. Even though Wemby has played well, even though I've criticized him on his weight, he needs to be a little stronger. He needs to be able to use the 7'4" height that he has to be able to punish guys, not have guys dunk over you. That's like the 3rd time somebody has dunked over him this season. Kobe White dunked on Wemby last night. And I'm honestly getting tired of it. So the Spurs have to do better. Got to finish the 4th quarter. The fights. Najee Marshall did not punch Yusuf Nurkic, and it was PJ Washington. And Yusuf Nurkic is weak. Najee Marshall never got suspended. I mean, I can understand PJ Washington, but Najee, no, you didn't connect. It didn't help the Mavericks because the Mavericks have lost 4 straight. But it didn't. These fights that these guys are having right now, between that fight and then the Asara Thompson and Tyler Hero, that situation, it looked like to me, it looked like the NBA had one of his worst weeks. When a guy's jaying you up, you have to commend the guy, but you have to do better. Asara Thompson, I looked at his personality on Sunday after the game when he had 20 rebounds against the Lakers. He looked loosened up. He looked happy. He looked happy to be on the court. He looked relieved. A guy that was suspended for 2 games. You realize being suspended from 2 games and you don't have any contact with the team, you just work on your own and not be on the court and have fun, especially as a young player. So, wow, it's just amazes me. It amazes me a lot. And so, I mean, it is what it is. The fights are going to be there. It is what it is. Suspend. No, I know. I mentioned this. Nobody's getting as many as those security personnel are on the court. Nobody's going to get suspended for more than 5 games. That's a new modern NBA suspension mandate. I made that Up. Nobody's going to be suspended for more than 5 games. unless you have a chaos. The Kings fired Mike Brown on the way to the airport to go to the Lakers game on December 27th. Just imagine getting fired and you did all that preparation and then to the Lakers. Why couldn't you fire him after the season? The man just signed a contract extension for the next 3 years. And to fire him on a midst of a 5-game losing streak, that's pathetic. That tells me the franchise is not going anywhere. But they got Doug Christie now. Doug Christie's 4-1. The defense has slightly improved, but I did hear rumors that DeMar did not want to go to the bench. And now those rumors are off. DeMar's excelling. DeMar's balling. This has been the healthiest I've seen mindset. I'm talking about mindset, not injury set. I'm talking about mindset that DeMar I've seen. Looked like DeMar was motivated. I think all the Kings players are motivated by what Doug Christie brings to the table. And they're motivated because they're fighting for their coach, Mike Brown. Now, to me, Mike, you're going to have a bunch of money over the years. You could take the Monty Williams routes and coach high school basketball, or you can have another NBA opportunity, which he should because he's a great head coach. I don't like how they did it in Kings. I don't like those firings, period. I always like it when a team, when they have to fire their coach, it's got to be after the season. If you're going to do it mid-season, at least have a reasonable cause. If the team was losing if the team was out of sorts, locker room issues, midst of a 5-game losing streak, not only it's the players, it's the coach that has to calm the atmosphere. Well, let me put it in a better word, the environment. It's up to the coach. And the coach has to bring everybody back. So Mike Brown did not have enough time to do that. He didn't have enough time to do that. But on the next team, he will excel. He will win a championship on that next team, whether it's assistant or analyst, wherever that title may be. Whether it's high school, college, all that stuff. Go get yourself a college job, Mike. The NBA clearly says we don't need Mike Brown. The Sacramento Kings said we don't need Mike Brown. They did that to Monty Williams. I'm pretty sure the next head coach, if they're going to do the next black head coach, they're going to do it too. Because like I told someone like I told VJ, who I was interviewing on the podcast last week, and interviewed with on the podcast last week, I told her, we as black men and women, we have a target on our backs when it comes to these jobs. It's going to continue like that until society accepts us. Now, coming up now, that's my show for today, guys. We had a lot. Thank you for listening and watching. Now, next week, unless we have a Cowboys firing, we're not going to talk about the Cowboys next week. That's over. But we will recap the NFL playoffs. We'll recap the Buccaneers, the Commanders, the Eagles, Packers, the Rams, Vikings, the AFC side. We'll also dive in more deeper into basketball. Juju, Page, Longhorns, North Texas, you name it, I got it. The NBA, and also I'm going to give you my predictions for the Unrivaled League. Let's talk about that. But guys, thank you for listening and watching to Beyond the Game podcast. Make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcast at, and I'll see y'all next week. It's Beyond the Game on Fishbowl Radio.
Hey world, this is Jamie, host of the Jamie and Genty Show, broadcasting live each week on Tuesday.